Okay, next question, and those are good. Those were good points, Mike. I think they were good points.
Good evening, Alderman.
Thank you.
Has any consideration been given to the idea of using what I guess you'd call remote parking, like contacting the Metropolitan Sanitary District for that wedge of parking space that they've appropriated over at Lincoln Village? I believe they own that strip of property that runs from Fillins all the way up to Tui. The idea of, as far as that strip of land, you could have parking for the people who want to go to Fillins Field. You'd have parking for the people at Winston Towers, and you'd have space for people who want to shop on Devon and who could probably be shipped in by bus. But or what about the Dominic slot or they're on Ridge? I mean, these are big spaces that would accommodate.
They want $800,000 per annum rental. That's the reason it's blocked off.
And how many takers have they had for that? How many people have
none?
Yeah.
And
why?
The reason it's blocked off is that the Water Reclamation District wants $800,000 per annum to park on their lot.
Isn't Terry O'Brien the president?
Yeah.
Be talked to and asked about that?
I've sat with him over hours after hours after hours. I said that, first of all, they were getting $80,000 or $40,000, and they were offered $80,000, and they're insisting on $800,000, and they say that's the minimum they can take under state law because they have an $8 million appraisal on that site. That's the reason I downzoned it to residential.
What about reappraising the site?
All of you can call Terry, because I've told him time after time.
Okay.
Next
question.
Good evening, Alderman Stone. I've been a resident for about 34 years, and I've watched you over the years. And right now, the area that I live in, there's kids getting hit basically once a month. I mean, cars just come right out, zooming down the street. They run the stop signs. And what is wrong with, or what do we have to do to get the speed bumps?
Well, to get a speed bump, all you have to do is get 70% of the residents on your block to petition for speed bumps, and we'll put in the speed bumps. 70% of the residents on a block have to petition for speed bumps, and we'll put them in.
Yeah, it's right next to a school also. The school is horrible.
Every school automatically gets speed bumps.
There's no
What
speed
school
bumps.
is it?
Stone Academy.
Stone Academy doesn't have speed bumps?
Stone has nothing.
It's hard to believe because every other school
Stone
has
nothing, and the stop signs, there's 3 stop signs that comes down Granville. They never stop. No one ever stops there. There's been a kid hit almost every month for the last 5 months because they zoom in the area, pay no attention.
Well, that's a dividing line between the 40th and the 50th, but the speed bumps should be on those blocks because every other school in my ward has speed bumps.
They're not there. You want me to take pictures and bring them to you on Thursday?
No, you don't have to take pictures.
They're not there.
Well, we'll contact the Department of Transportation on that.
Because that's very
They should
serious.
be around every school.
I've been living over in this area for about 15 years, and they're not there.
We'll contact the Department of Transportation. Thank you for calling to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Zach Schiffman. I represent the Community Planning Board Committee of the West Rogers Park Community Organization.
I'd just like to say about Zach that he's done a good job with the West Rogers Park Community Organization, and I'm glad to see him here also.
Thank you for your endorsement of our efforts. We are responsible for this handout. And I would like to say, just for starters, that the handout is only a suggestion, a starting point for conversation. I would also like to say that it is intended to suggest a permanent solution that not only addresses residential parking needs, but also business parking along Devon Avenue, because the commercial health of Devon Avenue is essential for the health of the ward. It does seem that there is precedent for multi-street zones, both in this ward and in other wards, and there is precedent in other wards for restrictions on overnight parking. And if the alderman so chooses not to do that, there is, Mike Steele has made the recommendation of restricting parking from 6 p.m. to, let's say, 11 p.m., during which time residents would get to park. Businesses would have the use of all that parking area during the day when they're most busy. So this seems to be the outline for a common sense, long-term solution to both residential and business parking needs. So I would like to put this back on the table as something to be considered.
We're going to consider Mike's suggestion, but I'm not going to consider the overnight parking, period. I will not consider overnight parking.
I have no vested interest in whether there's overnight parking or not.
Well, I will
but
not
may
consider.
I ask you simply why?
Because that's not the intention. It's not the intention to create private parking spaces for people. That's not the intention of residential parking. Residential parking, I will repeat. Apparently, you weren't here when I said it earlier. Residential parking is to protect the parking of the individual during the time when out of the area cars are in the area. And out of the area cars are not in the area overnight. They're here during shopping times, and they're not here overnight.
But the situation is such that during the day, the apartment owners are off at work with their cars, and during the evening when they need... Pardon me?
You're not listening. You're not
Not
listening
the
to
retired
what I'm
ones,
saying,
okay.
Zach. I just said to you, it's residential parking is to protect the area in front of the homes and apartments when out of the area cars are parked in the area, and that's not overnight.
Okay, would you consider evening restrictions rather than overnight
Of course
restrictions?
and I've done it. I've restricted it up to 11 p.m. at night, and I will continue to grant it. I always ask the individuals who apply for parking, what hours do you want? And if they tell me they want to do it till 11 p.m., I put it in till 11 p.m.
Okay.
It's up to the individuals requesting it. If they say 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., that's what they get.
Would it be possible to create a single parking zone that would permit residents to park wherever they could find a spot, and to have that zone restricted from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.?
The purpose of doing it by the single block is that the ordinance provides that the blocks have to be examined by engineers, and the purpose of the engineers examining the block is they come in and they count the number of vehicles that are parked on that block that are from out of the area during the hours where the restriction is put in. And the reason they do that is to see if it qualifies for residential parking. Now, if you make it a single zone, one block may qualify and another block may not. Now, that's the reason you do it on a block by block basis. So if you do it as a single zone, you get different counts.
May I point out that all these blocks have agreed to have permit parking?
It's not what they agree; it's what the engineer finds.
What, Zach? Okay, Zach. Okay, Zach.
I'm sorry.
1 second, Zach. Let somebody else ask a question,
Sure.
then when you can come back after everyone else is finished. Next question, please.
Okay. Hi, Alderman Stone, everybody.
Hi.
I'm very excited to be on TV tonight. Thank you, Michael Moses, for giving us the opportunity.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be on the internet. I think this is the first time it's ever been done, so we're all both excited.
It's very interesting possibilities for this to find its way around the world. I would like to draw your attention to the cover of our news star for this week. This lovely duck, everybody, was a picture. It's a picture of a duck at Indian Boundary Park. I'm here representing Indian Boundary Park. I've come in to see you a couple of times, Alderman Stone, and we have improved the park with your help and Tim Mitchell's help. And we have a great article. Thank you to Lorraine Swanson and her reporters. I wanted to ask you a question, though. This is a question that I just want clarification. I came into your office with one of my compatriots who's here tonight and my mother-in-law on April 15th, and we asked you for a little bit of menu money to fix up the park. And you told me that it wasn't available. So I don't understand completely menu money, but I do see that people are getting upset about the $1.4 million menu money going to the 49th Ward. So I'm just asking for some clarification.
It's not true, but that's all right.
Well, it actually is true because it says Alderman Stone menu money right here from the city of Chicago.
That's what Lorraine says, but of course Lorraine...
Wait.
Well...
Please.
Okay. Well, it is true. I have the report of the committee from the city of Chicago.
Please let her say it. But
Alderman Stone, it's not really a question of truth or not. I assume that you have menu money to give the way you want to.
Yeah.
I just would like clarification. Could you possibly clarify? And I understand that you probably don't have any for the park because it's really for streets and sanitation.
The reason Indian Boundary Park got fixed up is because I gave the park district over $1 million.
Was that from this money?
Excuse me. Well, why don't you let me finish now? I gave the park district over $1 million. That's the reason I saved Tillons. That's the reason part of that money went to the park at Gale School. That's the reason Indian Boundary Park got fixed up. That's the reason that what's the park down at on Peterson? Greenbrier got fixed up. That's the reason a lot of work is being done in the parks, is because I've committed myself to something like $1.5 million to the park district, and I am also giving $250,000 out of the next 2 menus to the park district. And if you want to see that, I give it directly to the park district. I don't apologize for that. It inures to the benefit of the people in my ward, and that's great. And I don't apologize for helping Alderman Moore out either, because it inures to the benefit of the people in my ward, and that's good. And I saved Thulin Stadium. That isn't even in the city of Chicago. That's in the village of Lincolnwood. And guess what? I saved Thulin Stadium. And we also and as a result of saving Thulin Stadium, we got to lease 28 acres of Lincolnwood and make it part of the city of Chicago and create a new park. I'm not going to apologize for that either. So that's okay by me. And if you want to talk about $1.4 million, I've given a lot more. Who got the credit for the Cubs? Cubs reneged on their promise. I didn't renege on my promise to the park district. I'm proud of what I did for the park district. So if you want to criticize me for the right thing. You criticize
Well, could I just interrupt you, because I'm not criticizing you. I'm not criticizing you, and
all the good things that are happening
I'm not sure
now,
why you're yelling at
all the good
me,
things that are
because I'm
happening
asking you
now
a
and will happen in
clarification
the
question.
future At Indian Boundary Park are
I
because
think that
gave
you're
the
getting
park
angry at
district the
me
money.
makes me a little wondering, like, what have I done? I simply asked a clarification question because it has come to light. You're yelling at me and telling me that I'm criticizing you.
Yeah.
I think that your anger is going in the wrong direction. When I came to see you on April 15th,
one second. I said at the beginning of the meeting we're going to talk about the parking issue. I let you talk about Indian Boundary because I let the rabbi talk about something else. He's the rabbi at my synagogue, so I had to let him talk whatever he wanted to talk about. But I let you ask the question, but I really want to talk about the parking. At the end of that time, if you have any other questions about the menu or about the parking,
okay.
You can please stay. But you asked that question. Is there anybody else who has a question about the parking before she continues?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just one thing.
Sure.
Saturday and Sunday is when the people from out of state come and everybody is at home, not at work. That's true. You really got a problem and nobody's mentioning it.
What's that got to do with the price of coffee?
What's that? Okay. Is there anybody else? We heard that.
If everybody's done, can I ask?
Well, I want to make sure. Has everybody? You want to ask a question about parking? Okay, please, Jennifer. Okay.
I would just like to say that I didn't come to criticize you, and I've only been trying to work with you, and I don't know why you're yelling at me, and I don't know why you're cutting me off by trying to clarify.
For Moore's Ward.
I was just asking. I don't mind if you cooperate with Alderman Moore. I think that's great. Why would that be a problem?
Okay, thank you. Go, you have a question about? Go ahead. Go to the microphone.
Yes. I have a question about 6125 Artesian. We have Frank service close to us. We never have parking at the street. Frank,
what?
Z Frank service we have. We have Chrysler. We have problem years. I have house over there 9 years. I have bigger problem. I can't sleep in the morning 4 o'clock. I have big truck with parts. I have 2 service close to my house. This street is not anymore residential street. This is commercial. This is industry street. We don't have day and night. We don't have parking. We don't have we don't have any relax in our house. What can we do? I call city. I call Mayor Daley. I call some other people. Nobody can help me. 5 times I call, 10 times call police. They come. They go straight in my bedroom, in my sleeping room. Me and my husband. We are almost 60. We can't. We working. We in the morning.
What's
we are
the
up.
problem? I don't
Problem
understand.
is Z Frank service and Chrysler Naplewood service. Problem is 9 years.
What is the problem?
Problem is noisy. I'm talking about problem.
All night long,
They're parking. Are they parking?
Parking is problem. Making noise is problem.
But they're on Western Avenue.
No, it's back up. It's alley. They going in alley. They have 3 exits in the alley. 1 exit is service. 2nd exit is washing cars. 3rd exit is parts. Big truck in the morning, 4 o'clock, every day except Sunday. Wake up me. Wake up whole street. What can we do?
Well, if the noise exceeds a certain level, you can call the Department of Environment. But other than that, you can't do anything. I mean, they were there. No, they were there. They were there when she moved in. Excuse me, they were there when she moved in.
No excuse for this service, sir. No excuse. No excuse. 9 years. I'm not comfortable. It's my house. I'm paying with blood mortgage. What can I do? Is anybody help me in this country? It's anybody help me here. Enough is enough. This morning I going 7 o'clock to work. My husband the same. My kids the same. In the morning 4 o'clock we are everybody up. And I go outside in my deck. I say, what's going on? He said, it's my business. This is it, honey. This is big problem. I'm almost 60. My husband 66. And all street is old residents. We not young people. What can I do?
Well, we'll check it out, but I don't think there's that much you can do. You want to know the answer?
Can you do anything, please? Like Alderman in our area?
It's zoned commercial, but I don't know what...
This is residential area. I just talking about this.
No, it's not residential. I hate to tell you that, but across the street from you is zoned commercial. Across the alley from you is zoned commercial.
I'm actually the one that's also affected by the Napleton Chrysler dealership.
Well, they're moving. They're moving.
Okay, this is
they're moving. I can tell you this right now. Napleton is moving south of Peterson.
All of their employees, they park on our parking.
Napleton is moving. I can tell you, Napleton is moving. I can tell you that right now. Napleton is moving, and they're moving south of Peterson, and a drugstore is going in there. I can tell you that right now.
And he allowed the police has to come all the time because he allows the employees to interfere. They loiter. They make noise. It's ridiculous.
Well, they're moving, so you can forget about Napleton.
What about Z Frank?
Z Frank, to the best of my knowledge, is not moving, but they're not in the 50th ward. They're in the 40th ward. I can't help you on Z Frank. Yes.
They're in the 50th Ward.
No, they're in the 40th Ward.
Okay, what?
Frank
Mr. Cody,
is a
wait 1
50.
second. Don't get
He's
upset.
60.
Ma'am.
Z. Frank is
south,
60.
They are south of. They are south of.
Half a block of me. Half a
Okay.
block of me.
Okay.
Half a block of me.
Okay, listen, ma'am, thank you very. Again, we're only talking about
So
the
they're
permit
moving.
parking.
So
So we'll.
Napleton is on the north side of the street. Z. Frank is on the south side of the street. Z. Frank is in the 40th Ward, and Napleton is in the 50th Ward. I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
Okay.
What about their parking?
Wait 1 second. We're only here about the permit parking. If you have to wait till the end, you've asked your question. Thank you. Or else other people want to talk about the permit parking.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Stone, you've talked about how happy we should all be with our property values being so well because it's been such an economic engine on Devon, and it's nice that you should tell us what we should be happy about and what we should be unhappy about. But what I'd like to know is that if our economic base was so wonderful to start with, why do we need a 6-story behemoth and the parking upset and everything else going on? And obviously this was against the residents of the area. That is not representing the business and the residents. That is representing the businesses. And if our economic engine was so fine, we didn't need improvement that supposedly will help the businesses at the detriment of residents. We should be the judge of who you represent well, and I submit that you are not representing the people in this room and residents around the area well at all.
Sir, that's your opinion. And you're entitled to your opinion.
And so my question is, why do we need that there when the economic engine, as you said yourself, was very strong on Devon?
And it's getting stronger. And it will,
at the detriment of the residents.
No, sir, to the benefit of the residents.
Can we be the judge of that instead of you?
No, sir. As long as I am the elected representative of the people, no, sir. I am still the elected representative of the people, and that was decided a year ago. And you had your opportunity to vote against me, and apparently you did. But I won.
So you're telling us that you won and we lost. Okay.
All right.
That's what we needed to hear.
Can we have the next question, please? Thank you. Can we
I'm not sure I actually have a question, but it was questions or comments. My comment would be that one of the reasons I moved into this area was because of the diversity and the interesting businesses and restaurants and everything on Devon Avenue. And I think that this is a temporary situation, and I think parking, I'm actually completely against parking permitting. I think it hurts the business people, and I think our streets are meant for everybody. So that's just my opinion. I just want to express it.
Thank you, sir.
Alderman, Peter Levavie. I want to say, first of all, I appreciate your 35 years of service to the ward. You've brought some tremendous things to the ward, and I also appreciate the fact that you're holding a public meeting like this and taking comments from the ward on issues as important as this parking. But you said if there's something to criticize you about legitimately, we should be doing that. And the one thing I'd like to criticize you with in a friendly way is the spirit of the discussion that's taking place. People here have a vested interest in the neighborhood just as you do. And we're coming here in good faith and good spirit to...
Some of you are.
Well, I would say everyone in this room is here in the spirit of wanting to improve the ward. And we appreciate this kind of meeting, and we hope that over time this kind of meeting will lead more of a sympathetic ear on your side to hearing the concerns of people and not dismissing them out of hand, but listening to them the way you did with Mr. Steele. I thought that was very positive, and I think we should be able to bring suggestions to you. Whether or not someone voted for you, you represent all of us here. And I just hope that we can continue this dialogue and have positive suggestions brought to you that are heard, respected, and if they're illegal or impractical, we can have an honest discussion about that we will accept. But we need to do this in a spirit of cooperation.
Peter, my door is open 2 nights a week, and you know it. And
I know.
You know that I listen to everybody that comes through that door 2 nights a week, and I have never refused to listen to anybody. And if at times I seem combative, yes, I'm combative, but I listen to everybody that comes to see me, and I am combative. But in the meantime, I do listen to people, and I do take suggestions. I thought that Mike's suggestion was a good one, and I'm going to take it into consideration. And if I can work on it and work it out, we're going to work it out. But that doesn't mean I can't say no, nor can I not say nor can I not criticize someone, because if someone, if in my opinion, is dismissing something I have done and dismissing it because of their political position, I'm entitled to talk back.
I just hope you don't sink to the level that other people might sink to.
I never have done that. I have never done that. Other people may do it, but I don't. I have always listened to everybody. Thank you.
And we appreciate you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just go real quick. Okay. Well, thank you. First off, just Alderman Stone, if someone wanted to come and talk to you, what were those hours 2 nights a week?
Monday and Thursday evenings. I get there at 6:30. I'm there till the last person leaves.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're trying this on the internet as well, so we do have some comments. Just want to get them on right here. One person says on Devon Avenue, their business, they have more evening business hours, so they're a little concerned. They think they're in the minority here because they want it to flip-flop, but that's just their opinion. Also, one woman, Susan, she said, Alderman Stone, he does support Indian boundary, and it's kind of an outside question. Wasn't looking for that, but he just wanted to say he did a good job. Also, another person here, Iwi Cho, trying to say this correct here, says you've given the community wise and strong and loving leadership, and I know that's up for debate tonight, but I thought I'd put that out there as well. And my own personal question, coming from an outsider, I want to know, Alderman Stone, is what brought this on? And the second part is, where do you see this going, helping the community, the residents, and the businesses here in the 50th Ward? I think that's what people really here want to know.
Where is what, on Devon Avenue going?
Yes.
I see Devon Avenue as a completely new something new happening on Devon Avenue. I see a new street developing. One of the things I see happening in particular is something else that Michael is working on, and that Michael went with me to see the chief of staff of the mayor, and one of the things that we worked out is a funding for a landscape engineer. And and there'll be public meetings on this, by the way, as soon as we get the funding, because she did commit to funding to hire a landscape engineer for a revamp of Devon Avenue, particularly if we're successful in getting the 2016 Olympics. And we want to make sure that Devon Avenue, above all streets in the city, is ready for the 2016 Olympics, because Devon Avenue represents a street that really is the street for the Olympics, because it's of the diverse nature, which somebody else mentioned previously. It's the street that people coming here from foreign countries would want to come to. And I talked just last week. I was talking to one of the Indian leaders, and he mentioned that he would like to see a gateway at Western and Devon for the Indian and Pakistani communities. It's a good suggestion, but Devon Avenue is an international street, and it should be represented as an international street. So I see it as a street that will be redeveloped, and a street that will have a totally different look to it, and there is going to be major changes along Devon Avenue.